The third part of algebra that I want us to look at today is called inequalities. This is not equations, but inequalities, where you replace the equal sign with an inequality sign. This is where we use signs like greater than, or greater or equals to, or less than, or less or equals to. These we call inequalities. Let's look at how we deal with this problem when we have them in our examination. It's between 3 to 5 marks in your exam. Look at this problem. It is also part of question 1, part of algebra, part of quadratics. It's the very same thing. We put everything in this form first, ax squared plus bx plus c. That form becomes important when we deal with algebra. Now, when I look at this one, the first thing that I need to do is to put everything on the right-hand side to be 0, as in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. So I've got to do that first. So I'm going to have here x squared minus 2x. Take this 3 this side, it's going to be minus 3 is greater than 0. It is not equals to 0, it is greater than 0. What is greater than 0? Something which is greater than 0 is something that is positive. If something is less than 0, it is negative. Now, what do we do here? Factorization. Factorization. The first part of algebra comes everywhere. The first part of algebra comes everywhere. It is important that you must be able to factorize. Now, what do we do when we factorize? The first step, we look for a common factor. We look for it. You don't study for it. You don't practice it. You just open your eyes and look for what is common between these 3 terms. Nothing is common. If there's nothing common, you check if you can factorize by opening 2 sets of brackets. Remember, this must be greater than 0. This must be greater than 0. Let us factorize. What are the factors of x squared? It is x times x. They will give me x squared. I'm going to look for factors of 3 that will give me 2. Remember the factorization. I'm looking for factors of 3 that will give me 2. 3 times 1. Oh, there are only 1 factors. It is 3 times 1. Fortunately for us, we've got only 1 factors of 3. It is 3 and 1. Now, where do you put signs? You always put the sign of a middle term to a bigger number between these 2. We've got 3 and 1. So 3 is bigger, therefore we put the sign of it. It's minus there. This will be plus. So it's minus 3 times that. It's going to give us minus 3. Right. From here, you assume as if this is an equal sign. Now, if this was an equal sign, what will we have? We call these critical values that I'm finding here, critical values, critical values. When doing critical values, you assume this is a boundary, it's an equal sign. So you're going to have your first x equals to 3 or x equals to minus 1. Remember, this is not a solution. You assume this would have been a solution if this was an equal sign, but it's not an equal sign, it's an equality sign. You take these critical values, we call them CVs or critical values. You put them on a number line. There are so many methods. Others will prefer a table, others will prefer a parabola. Remember, this is quadratic. We use ax squared, so we've got to have 2 roots. Now, when I put my ring here, I check. This step becomes very important in inequalities. Understanding this one is what umsebenzi wethu belula kakhulu. Kwenzakalani la? Si multiply this term naleya term uphuma into enjani? A positive. Si multiply le term nale term, we're getting something that is positive. Uqhamuka makunjani positive? Whenever we're multiplying something that is positive and positive, I will get positive. Or whenever I'm multiplying something that is negative and negative, I will also get positive. What is this saying to us? It says that this term must be positive and this one also must be positive to get positive. Or, alternatively, if this is negative, this has to be negative as well to get what we want. Remember that we want to find the values of x that will satisfy that when we multiply these 2, we'll get something that is positive. But we know that this must both be positive to get positive, or these 2 must both be negative to get positive, because negative times negative will give us positive. Let's get on with it. Now we're looking for values of x that will satisfy those conditions. Now let's start with these ones. Let's start with these ones as we're using our critical values first. Now when you take 3, for example, if you take this critical value, push it this side and that side. Now if I push 3 here, what will I have this side? I will have 3 minus 0. What is 3 minus 0? This will give me 0. no matter what I put that side, if I put 3, for example, but 0 times anything, what do I get? I get 0. 0 times any number, I will get 0. But what do I want? I want something that is positive, not something that will give me 0. So this number 3 does not satisfy this one. So if it's important that these two numbers, we put them in the number line. You put the smaller number this side, you put the bigger number that side. So I checked this number 3 in this equation, in this inequality. I see that it does not satisfy this one. Because when I push in 3 here, I'll get 0 times a particular number, which will give me 0. I don't want 0. I want something that is greater than 0, something that is positive. So 3 is not part of the solution for this problem. Let me check the other one, the critical value, the other one that I have. I've got -1 here. I can put -1 here and here, but I know that when I put -1 here, what will I get? -1 plus 1, it is 0. So I already have 0 this side. No matter what value I put this side, I will get the answer of 0. Because 0 times anything, I will get 0. But I'm not looking for 0 in this particular case. I'm looking for something that is greater than 0, something that is positive. Therefore, this number is not going to give me the required solution. It's not part of my solution. It's important then through experience that you should know that whenever you're dealing with my inequalities, you've got this part, you've got this part, you've got this part. Sithi le part ingaphandle, ingaphakathi, ingaphandle. Let's check it. We're going to check our values if they satisfy that, check these values and check those other values as well. So that is the trend. We'll check these values, check these values, and check these values if they satisfy our inequality. Let's look at this one. In number ephakathi -1 no 3 esiyaziyo yiphi, you can just pick any value because that value will represent all the values here. Now when you take any number that is between -1 and 3, whenever you are checking a number negative and positive, it is very easy to pick 0. Kulula ukusebenza ngo-0 kunezinye number. So I'll recommend that whenever there is a negative number and a positive number, just pick 0. Now if you take 0, also represent lezi number here. If I push in 0 here, 0 minus 3, I will have something that is negative this side. -3. If I put 0 here, I'll have something that is positive that side. Because 0 plus 1 is +1, 0 minus 3 is -3. So a negative number times a positive number, what do I get? I get a negative number. But what do I want? I want something that is positive. Therefore, the numbers that are here are not part of the solution. Now, let me check the numbers below -1. Any number that you want to use that is below number 1, it can be -2, it can be -3, it can be -5. Let's just pick -2 for this particular problem. If I push -2 here, -2 and -3 will give me -5. This is -5. If I push -2 here, -2 plus 1, it will give me -1. So this is negative, this is negative. So negative times negative, it will give me positive. That's what we're looking for. So the values that are below 1 are part of my solution. Let's check values above 3. Let me tell you something. These ones, you'll always have them in a particular pattern. They will always go in a particular sequence. If this one is my solution, this will not. That will be the solution. If this one is not the solution, this will be the solution, this one will not be. They always interchange in terms of movements. So this is a solution, this is not a solution. Leya solution yet. Let us prove that. If we take numbers that is above, any numbers that is engaphezulu 3, let's check them. If we take 5, for example, or 4, or 6, or 20, for this example, let's take 5. I just start to 5 now. Masithi 5 minus 3. 5 ususa u3 kusala 2, or positive. 5 plus 1 is a positive. So this is positive and this is positive. So what is positive times positive? It will give us something that is positive, which is greater than 0. So let's say number what 3 nazo are part of our solution. So this is the critical part. So we can see what our solutions are to as 2, Allah, nala. Now how do we write a solution? You write what you see. That's exactly what you write. For argument's sake, let me just show you something. If I had something like this, if this was -1 and this was 3, and the solution was here only, if this is the solution, this will not be a solution, and this will not be a solution. I don't even have to check it. If you check the middle one, you don't have to check the other two. They'll be the opposite of the middle one. If this is not a solution, so this will be a solution. If this is a solution, this will not be a solution. All you need to do is to check only one. Right. What is it that I see here? If I was writing for the solution only for this one, I see, where is the solution? My solution is greater than minus 1, and my solution is less than 3. This is how I would represent this solution from that number line. But that is not what has been asked. This is what I see here. How many solutions do I have? How many parts that are part of the solution? It's this part and this part. How many parts are part of the solution here? It's only this one. Hence, I've got only one solution. Here, you've got to show both of them. In this case, what is my solution? My solution, which is x in this case, is less than minus 1. Remember, minus 1 is not part of the solution. If this was part of the solution, I was going to have equal sign here. But it is not part of it. Right. Or my other solution, what is it that I see? I see that the solution are all the numbers that are bigger than 3. So my other solution is greater than 3. So this is how you represent your inequalities. I think another important factor on this section, Yama inequalities, remember that when you write your examination, you are against time. You have to find ways to play around with your paper so that you can finish it on time. Let me give you some hints that will make life easier for us when you do this in the examination. Suppose you are coming from, you can see that this one takes a lot of time to find the actual solution. But let me just give you something that will make your life easier. From this step, you go to your number line. You've got minus 1, and we've got 3 that side. All right. What do we do then? We want to, this times this gave us something. Using these arrows, this might not be mathematically correct, but it works in all the inequalities. Look at this arrow. This part, I would say it is outside. This one, I would say it is inside. This part, this arrow is pointing outside. If it was pointing like this, benzothi khomba ngaphakathi. So the arrow yakho iyakutshela ukuthi isolution ikephi. The arrow is pointing outside. If the arrow was like this one, ibizobe ikhomba ngaphakathi. Now I said to you, in this number line, we've got le part sitting ngaphakathi, sibe nale part sitting ngaphandle. Looking at this arrow, ikhomba ngakephi le arrow, ikhomba ngaphandle, it's pointing outside. Now it just tells me where the solution is. It is outside, outside, outside. It is not inside. Without even checking it, you can just do it quicker in that way in your examination, because this arrow is pointing outside, hence the solution is outside, outside. So how do I write it? I say my solution is less than minus 1, or my solution is greater than 3. So in that way, you can easily find the way to move quicker when you do the inequalities. Then you'll be able to get your maximum marks, your 5 marks. That was inequalities.